Hello, welcome to my live. Let me just welcome all. Welcome to this wonderful live that we have going. As you may know, we're doing true crime today. We're going to be taking you through a true crime story. Everything. I'm going to be pausing, talking about it, all that fun stuff. Oh, let me put this up a little bit more. So you guys, I feel like I'm so high. All right. So let me just wait for a few more people. Make sure that everyone could see what's going on my screen. So there won't be any issues. Let me just make sure. Okay, you guys are seeing. That's good. Let me just wait for some more people to come on in. We're gonna go through a whole true crime story like we normally do. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna have a good time. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Welcome to Maxine's Corner, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Welcome. Let me open up this here so I can see all the comments. Oh my gosh. Take this off. Welcome to Maxine's Corner, you guys. Why can't I see? Oh, okay. Just want to make sure everything is being shown the way it's supposed to show. And it looks good. It looks good. So I'm just waiting for some people to come in. And once everyone come on in, we're going to get started. Okay? Let me know how your day is going so far. And let me know if my kids are going back to school tomorrow. So some of you, your kids are not back in school yet. So, or some of you, your kids are already back in school, probably started today. So either way, thanks for joining us. Some of you are like, I wish Maxine would just get started on the live already. What is she doing? What's taking her so long? Nothing at all, except for I'm just trying to get a few people to come in. And I like to also look at myself while I'm doing this. So I'm getting ready to start this up. And as I'm doing that, I'm going to just go home and check out this live here that I have started. Let's see. Let's go up here. Let's check out the live, how it looks. All right. Looks pretty good, right? We ready? Are we ready? All right. Live. All right. Looks like you guys are seeing it pretty good. So let me just go ahead and play this live here.
Ambitious, independent, and rebuilding her life in America. But on New Year's Eve, 27-year-old Nikita Gadashala vanished after visiting her ex-boyfriend's Maryland apartment.
Oh, wait. And guys, pay attention to everything that's happening because every bit counts, okay? We're gonna really have to pay attention to this. I don't know why. Okay, really. All right, so this is from Crime TV, so we're watching it live. Let me go to Instagram real fast because I think I forgot to go live. All right, so we're on Instagram. That's awesome. Hi guys, welcome. Today we are talking about a crime story, and this is going to be great. I just want to make sure that you guys on Instagram could see as well. And let's get going. So try to pay attention as much as you can, all right? Because this is important. Let me also, I want to open up my Instagram as well to see who is watching. So give me a second, guys. I'm getting everything together. You know, I'm not a big professional, but I'm going to start doing these lives just to connect with you guys a little bit more. I'm not used to going live, but Once again, I am trying to do a little something, so just bear with me. I'm starting it up. No worries, no confusions. Um, Let me just get into this live so I can see how everything looks. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just setting everything up for you guys, okay? So once I do that, we'll be all ready. And it takes a while for everyone from Instagram to come on in anyway. So once Instagram here, so we can get ready. Let's get ready. Today, guys, we are watching this crime story. We're going to be talking about it. We are going to have a conversation on it on my cell phone. I don't think I'll be able to see everyone's conversation, but I am on my cell phone and I am trying to make sure that I catch everything here. It's good for you guys. So let's get ready. Let's play this. Let me make sure that you guys could hear us. This is going. Thanks for joining. I see all the people from Instagram. We are watching a crime story today, and we're going to be talking about it. Let me move. Maybe I can move this down here, put this up here. So I do have a few screens open, so that's why I'm moving things all over. So let's get ready. Come on in Instagram. Let's have a good time. Let's watch this crime story together. So if you're a crime junkie, then you're going to love these series that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to pause. We're going to talk about it. And it's going to be a fun time. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, welcome everyone. Once again, we're watching this crime story. This woman. All right, can't really say certain words on here, so I know you guys are waiting on me. Like, okay, Maxine, enough with the chat. Don't mind if I'm looking over here. It's because I'm looking at different screens. So let's get going. Let's watch this.
2 days later, he reported her missing.
Let's start it from the beginning because some of you may.
She was ambitious, independent, and rebuilding her life in America. But on New Year's Eve, 27-year-old Nikita Gadashala vanished after visiting her ex-boyfriend's Maryland apartment. 2 days later, he reported her missing, and police say he left the country the same day.
Okay, so he reported her missing, and then he left the country. How convenient. That's just the beginning.
What detectives would later find inside that apartment has now sparked an international manhunt. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
Oh, guys, this is going to be a really good one. I could already tell because you reported her missing and disappeared for 2 days. Who does that? He does. All right. Yeah, it's very sad. Very sad. But let's see what else we got going.
Hey, real quick, before we start this episode of On the Case, one of the most...
I like to fast forward that part when he's talking.
Her ex-boyfriend...
Oh, wait. He's saying something of importance. And you know, we got to do a commercial because this is being streamed live from Crime TV. So
now police say that missing person report came as investigators believe that she was already dead and that her body was later found inside his apartment. This is the international manhunt that's unfolding right now. Police. And
this is brand new. This is a brand new story on Crime TV. I mean, Law and Crime. So this is a brand new case that I just caught wind of, and I really like what Law and Crime does. They do some really good stories. So shout out to them. Fair Use Act.
It's alleged that 26-year-old Arjun Sharma stabbed 20.
I don't know why he I don't know why he left the country, but we're gonna find out. It's very convenient though.
7-year-old Nikita Gadashala to death in his Maryland apartment on New Year's Eve. Then they claim that he made a calculated move. He called police 2 days later to report her missing.
Yeah, because you fled the country, right? And then conveniently enough, she's missing, right? You're reporting her missing. Like, how do you know she's missing? It's too convenient for me, you know.
And hours after that call, he was reportedly on a plane to India. Now,
India, they extradite, don't they? Do you guys know if they extradite? I think India does.
Nikita posted on social media a message that is now drawing a lot of attention. It's her final Instagram post. And her caption asks, "Are you scared? Scared, I once crossed the oceans with just 2 suitcases, leaving behind a life and starting a new one all alone.
What do you think that means? That's crazy. She is, they always said the person that passes away always tell you a little bit about, like, they try to solve the crime for you as well. Like, they try to give you a little information about what's going on with them. All right.
You might look at that and ask yourself, what was she trying to say? And how does
I know I'm asking myself, what was she trying to say?
a woman who once bravely rebuilt her life end up allegedly murdered by the man who she once lived with, a man who she publicly called respectful just months ago? Now, we're tracking this global chase that...
She's so pretty, such a beautiful young lady that this happens to. It's very, very sad,
started in Maryland. And we're also following this heartbreaking discovery and the mysterious post that hints at a far bigger story. So this is all based on police allegations and court filings. So remember that these are the claims that investigators are making.
Okay, so don't forget, what he's saying is that we don't know if this is true or not. This story is based on the claim that the investigators are saying, the detectives, whoever is investigating the case, this is their claim. Yeah, she is very pretty. Let's continue.
This story begins on New Year's Eve. According to Howard County detectives, 27-year-old Nikita Gadashala was at her ex-boyfriend's apartment in Columbia, Maryland. Their relationship had ended, but police say it wasn't unusual for them to meet up occasionally. Then, shortly after 7 o'clock that night, detectives believe the unthinkable happened inside that apartment unit on Twin.
Wait, before I continue, can you guys hear me on Instagram? Let me know in the comments if you guys can hear me. Okay, so she showed and told clues before it happened. Yes, I believe she showed and told clues before it happened. But let me know if you guys can hear me or not. So can you guys? Yeah. Okay, so let me know if you guys can hear me on Instagram. Let me know in the comments if you guys, you can hear me. Okay, great, excellent. Let's continue. I just want to make sure.
Rivers Road. They allege that Nikita's ex, 26-year-old Arjun Sharma, stabbed her to death.
Wow.
For the next 48 hours, there was deafening silence. Nikita, a woman described by friends as vibrant and diligent, suddenly stopped all communication.
So she's probably one of those people that's constantly in social media, talking and doing all these things, and then all of a sudden everything stops and he's in India. Convenient. Let's continue. And you guys do know that I do have to stop and make commentary because this is not my content here that I'm showing. It's from Crime and Law, and that's the way you have to do this. You have to add commentary behind all of this when you're showing these stories. Can't just play other people's stuff. Although it is Fair Use Act, you can't just show it the whole time. So that's why I do have to stop and have these conversations in between.
She didn't answer text messages or phone calls. Her social media, usually active, went completely dark. Her friends grew increasingly terrified, and they began flooding online groups with posts, desperately asking for anyone if they had seen her. The friends were so afraid that something bad could have happened that some actually filed their own missing person reports, pleading with authorities to find her. Then on Friday, January 2nd, a call came in that seemed on the surface to confirm everyone's worst fears. The person reporting Nikita Gadashala missing was Arjun Sharma himself.
Wow. Now, all her friends were reporting her missing to begin with. And then here he comes saying that she's missing. Convenient? What do you think? I think it's very convenient.
And according to police reports, he told officers that he last saw his ex-girlfriend at his apartment on December 31st and that she had disappeared.
Wait a minute. If she was last at his apartment, then that's a big red flag right there, if you ask me. But hey, I'm just a retired detective. Yeah, he's definitely covering his tracks. I can't wait to see how this turns out.
Police say that on the very same day, hours after he allegedly made that missing person report, Arjun Sharma went to Dulles International Airport and he got on a flight and left the United States.
I mean, if I was on this case, I would find it very, very convenient that this person reported someone missing, especially someone that they're dating, and then conveniently just left. How do you do that? How do you do that? So yes, he's definitely covering his tracks. Something is definitely not right.
His destination, authorities confirmed, was India, the other half of the world. Now, with the person who last reported seeing Nikita now gone, the investigation accelerated. The following day, Saturday, January 3rd, detectives executed a search warrant for Arjun Sharma's apartment. What they found inside is at the heart of this tragedy because they're in.
Wait, let me see some ideas of what you guys think in your head. I don't like to go to the comments on YouTube because when I see the comments, people that seen this case before, although no one is really supposed to have seen this case because this is a brand new case, what do you think they found in his apartment? He reported her missing and he left the country. Yup, he sure did. Conveniently enough, he was like, I'm out of here. You guys are not going to get me. But I want to know in the comments, what did you guys think that he found in, what is this? Yup. I'm looking at all the comments. Give me a second, guys. There's a lot of comments around here, so, and my phone is probably gonna die. But yeah, I want to know what you guys think that he found. You know, it's very convenient. All right, let's continue.
In his apartment, they discovered the body of Nikita Gadashala. Police reported that she had suffered multiple stab wounds. She was pronounced dead at the scene. By Sunday, even though their suspect was overseas, Howard County Police secured.
Wait, what? They found her body? Let's hear.
Multiple stab wounds. She was pronounced dead at.
Oh! Multiple stabbed wounds. That's a crime of passion. Say less. Let's continue.
The scene. By Sunday, even though their suspect was overseas, Howard County Police secured an arrest warrant for Arjun Sharma, charging him with first and second degree murder in Nikita Gadashala's death. The local police department is now working with federal agencies and Interpol, trying to navigate the complex process of an international extradition to bring him back to the United States to face charges.
Okay, what do you guys think? Do you think that he actually made it back to the United States to face charges, or do you think no way? Let me know your thoughts as we continue.
So before we talk a little bit more about that part of the investigation, I want to talk a little bit more about who Nikita Gadashala was beyond the tragic headline that now carries her name. In the days and weeks before her death, she left glimpses of her life online, posts that now read with a haunting, almost prophetic weight. Her final message to the world was a puzzle. On Instagram, she shared a note and it read, "Are you scared? Scared? I once crossed the oceans with just 2 suitcases, leaving behind a life and starting a new one all alone. Almost failed, rebuilt it all over again." Just months earlier, in a more mundane but revealing post, Nikita had turned to a Facebook group in August looking for someone to take over her old room.
But that's, maybe she seems like someone that moves around a lot. So I mean, her looking for someone to take over her old room is not any, to me, it's not like, I don't know. It's like, okay, well, I'm moving. I'm looking for someone to take over my room, take over my apartment or whatever. So, you know, she's very beautiful too. So sad.
room was in the same Columbia apartment where her life would allegedly come to an end. And in
Mm.
that post, she described her then ex-boyfriend, Arjun Sharma, in practical, even positive terms for a potential roommate. She reportedly wrote that he was, quote, respectful and kept the place clean, an ordinary detail that now does sit in jarring contrast to the allegations that he is facing.
I mean, she said good things about him. I wonder what could have went wrong. At what point was he just like who is this guy, right? I'm wanting to know who he is. I feel like I'm on this case. Come on, guys, let's help solve this one. Why do you think he did it? Let's get it started.
Joining us now to talk more about this investigation, some of the unique angles to it, is Safa Robinson Ferrer, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. It's always great to have you on Law and Crime. In this case, the person who is now accused of murder is the person who called in. Yes, he also, we can talk about him allegedly fleeing to India, but he's also the person that called in a missing persons report. Just what stands out to you about that part? And just, it seems calculated in the way that the phone call was made and suddenly he's on a plane.
What do you guys think? Do you think it's calculated? Oh, let me play this commercial.
I used to not have time for
happening. Yeah, it's definitely calculated. I mean, you disappear. He was playing her, guys. Do this. Well, whatever he was doing,
it's very calculated, and that to me speaks to what we call consciousness of guilt. You know, he's trying to do things that would ultimately throw off law enforcement from his trail of him being the perpetrator of this crime. And so we've got those things in play, and also not only that, we have that he ultimately fled. And at least the information that we got in was that he planned this missing person's phone call, but ultimately went straight to the airport very shortly thereafter.
Yeah, because that's just way too convenient for me. How do you report someone that you love and care about missing, and then you just get on a plane and leave? It does seem very calculated, in my opinion, but let's see.
Leaving the country, of course, evading law enforcement or their apprehension of him, once they would have had enough information to make him a suspect.
I know police get a lot of missing persons calls, and a lot of times it's someone who's run away, and this was after New Year's, and I'm sure they get missing persons calls that people just, there's so many that we don't hear about. But in this case, she's called in as a missing person, and then if police were to follow up on this, the guy's already out of the country, where that seems like it would have been a red flag. What do you make of the fact that he calls it in, but then also he's able to leave? Police didn't follow up, it seems, and not a criticism of police. I know they got a lot going on, but
well, here it is. The cops didn't really know. I'm going to say allegedly, I don't know, but I'm just talking for myself. If you call in a missing persons report or whatever, there's a lot that goes into that, especially in New York City. Like, there's special categories, like how long she's been missing. And especially if she's someone that's always traveling, always going places, you don't really know if she's actually missing per se, or she just decided that she just wanted to go someplace else and not be bothered. So yes, you're gonna do a little investigation, but at the end of the day, you're not going to go crazy at first because she doesn't really fit into the special category. So a little bit more information has to come in. Cops are not just going to get up and just start investigating right away,
person who called it in is suddenly out of the country. That just seems a bit suspicious.
It's a huge red flag. And, we don't know the exact timing of these things. I know, or at least the information was conveyed, that he made this missing person phone call, but then ultimately fled shortly thereafter, maybe within the day of him making that phone call. However, the thing is, when you get a missing person report to law enforcement, there's a ton of missing persons reports, right? And so how long it takes for an officer to respond or for an investigator to be assigned and to gather enough information to make a determination that this person is either in danger or we're going to hold on until, maybe 24 hours.
Right. And that's exactly what I was just saying. When you first get the report, you're not going to, like I said, this special category that, yes, you do run out there and then you start right away, especially if the person has a disability. Yes. So it's just the way the law is written that makes it bad in that sense, if that's how you want to put it, I think he was jealous. Could have been, could very well be. It could very well be that way, So let's see.
48 hours. There's a lot of things that factor into this case. So what really stands out to me is how they ultimately were able to make the determination that they were going to get a search warrant to search his apartment and ultimately found her body located there, and what information they had that provided the basis for that warrant.
Because it's easy for us on the outside to say, well, just go in the apartment, like knock.
Right. It doesn't work that way. You can't just go into somebody's apartment and then, it doesn't work that way. That's all I'm saying. Because people always think that it's so easy. What are you waiting for? She's missing. Just go on in. No. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
On the door and go in, like you're going to find everything. What would they actually need to have? Even if she's missing, that was known as a place where she was or had spent time. I mean, really, what do you need to bring to a judge for them to say, yes, you can walk into this apartment, he's not there, but you can see if there's any evidence that you need?
What the investigators would do is gather enough evidence that would elevate to probable cause to believe that a crime has occurred, and that there is some.
Right. So they definitely need probable cause. And I think a lot of you know what probable cause is. You need some proof, some kind of proof that a crime has been committed, because otherwise we could easily get sued.
Sort of evidence of that crime in this apartment or in this location. They draft an affidavit reflecting those things to the judge, articulating that probable cause, get a judge to sign it based off of the affidavit. And sometimes they will attach certain exhibits or pieces of evidence that will highlight to the judge, this is why this is important. This is why we've met our threshold and we need this warrant. And so the judge will usually sign off on that warrant to go to that property.
Right, because you can't just go to a judge and be like, hey, by the way, let's say you think someone has a weapon of some sort and you want to get into their house. You can't just be like, hey, judge, I have no proof, but you have to have probable cause. You can't. That's why when someone has a search warrant, trust and believe, there is probable cause that there is 99% chance that there's something illegal going on at that location, because they had a good source, maybe a CI or whoever, but usually that's the way it works.
Location to search particular areas or the whole thing and find what they're looking for. That is what we call it's a warrant requirement. There are exceptions to that warrant requirement. One of the exceptions being if there's an exigent circumstance. At this point in time, doesn't seem that it was here or present. We don't know ultimately at what point in time she was deceased.
Listen, it's called.
Yeah, I mean, no one knows at what time she was deceased or anything like that. And and it's like I said, you can't just go into somebody's apartment and just start doing.
Here in the United States,
you can't just go into someone's apartment and just be like, hey, I'm just gonna kick the door open and hope she's there because she's missing. So they definitely had to get a search warrant, because especially what if the guy was living there and he had other stuff in there too? And then it also depends. Where's the search warrant for? If she has a roommate, is it for her room? Is it for all the areas? It's so much that goes in there. Right. If they see something through the window, yeah. But otherwise, they can't just be like walking up in someone's house like that. It doesn't work that way. That's how it is. Freaking, they'll come into anyone's house. That's why when they ask, oh, mind if I come inside? You could be like, yup, I sure do. Goodbye. That's why they asking you, are you okay? Can I come inside?
States, there's an arrest warrant out to get this suspect, but he has taken, according to law enforcement, a flight halfway across the world. He's in India. The Indian government says that they're going to help find him, but what more can be done here in the United States? As if you're a detective in this county in Maryland, you have this murder that needs to be solved.
Wait, they don't know where in India he is? Is this what the authorities are saying? That's in India? So they're not going to find this guy. I'm okay. Let me just see what's going on here.
But you're almost at the will of the Indian government, maybe Interpol, the FBI, to really do a lot of the work to find him in a foreign country.
And that's what local government is going to have to lean in on, is their federal partners, to be able to work and get this apprehension of this.
Hey, do you guys think that the Indian government is going to help out? What do you think?
Individual. And it does seem that the Indian government is at least being supportive and cooperative with
Being cooperative.
U.S. officials to get that accomplished. And so their policing strategies and their abilities to locate this individual will be deployed. And there will just be simple communication and conversations between the two governments to get this individual apprehended and brought back to the United States. Now, we don't know how up to date their technology is and things of that nature. Certainly, if that person was in the U.S., it's probably a better likelihood or a higher chance that they will be apprehended. India, I'm not so sure of how well their apprehension and technology is, but
I don't know. I mean, how hard are they looking for this person? How much are they doing? Are they just saying, hey, yeah, we'll find him, and then they're really in reality not doing anything to find this person? We don't know.
I would assume that it's right in line with ours and that they'd be cooperative and get them into custody.
This show's not about geopolitics, but India is typically seen as an ally of the United States. What's the relationship like with a country like that when it comes to, once they are able to find him, if and when that happens, getting him back to the United States to face charges?
It makes extradition traditionally easier. You don't have to jump through so many loopholes and dealing with government.
I don't know. A part of me strongly feels like they're really, just my opinion, like, how much are they really doing? Are they, the Indian government, going around looking for him house to house? I mean, this guy could be like right next door and they're not paying it. I mean, come on. I don't know. Let's see.
Governments that are not cooperative. So I do think that it generally makes it easier. Now, I have not had a client apprehended in the country of India, but I generally speaking, it does make it easier. So even if we're in New York, we have Canada, it makes it a little bit easier to transport these individuals and extradite them.
Definitely praying for her family.
And the governments are at least on good terms or talking terms.
Well, because this is kind of like a side question of that, because I feel like there's always at least you see it in the movies, but it's the person who's trying to make it to Mexico because they've committed a crime and they're trying to disappear. Typically, even when you cross international borders, that doesn't suddenly, it's not like this, I'm over the line and I'm scot-free. I mean, certainly not in Canada, and even Mexico for that matter, we've seen people brought back over. But when someone commits a crime, especially one as serious as murder here in the United States, does any sort of escaping to a place like India actually help you if you are trying to get away?
I'm going to say, in my opinion, I think that they may do a little bit, and I'm not a lawyer, but I don't think they even have the technologies that they do here, because we have a camera on, people have doorbell cameras, they have cameras on the sidewalk, like just cameras everywhere, right? But I don't think it's like that in India. So unless they put out a reward or something, then they could probably find them. But I think if they don't have a reward or anything, it's going to be really difficult.
I believe there are countries that do not extradite back to the United States. What those countries are right now, I don't know off the top of my head, but I think there are a few, or three. And so I think one of them is a European country. Yeah, but European. So traditionally speaking, it's up to the U.S. to come and find them. if that foreign country's laws even allow for that. So there are, I believe, a few countries that do not extradite, but generally speaking, a lot of them do.
Okay.
From a defense point of view, if and when he is arrested, I mean, this is a guy who, according to law enforcement, there is a body in his room of someone he knows who he once dated who had been stabbed to death.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's definitely going to be lost in plain sight because that's it.
You know, from the peanut gallery, that feels like an open and shut case in a lot of ways. I mean, what's the defense strategy potentially once he gets back?
There's quite a few things. So they first have to prove that this individual is the person who is alleged to have committed this act. They have to prove his identity and that he was in fact the perpetrator. I don't know that there's going to be any evidence that indicates that directly that he was the one that had done this. You know, somebody saying, I saw him do X, Y, and Z. Now, there's certainly circumstantial evidence of that, but there's no direct evidence. So that's
okay. So you guys heard what she said. There is no direct evidence that he did it. So what exactly do they have? Why are they wanting him to come back? If there's no evidence that he did something, so why am I being charged with this crime? You have no evidence. You have nothing. That's what she just said. There's no evidence that he did it. It's all circumstantial. The burden of proof is going to be on the prosecution.
one thing that will be challenged. The other thing is we do have to deal with this phone call. He was the person that called 911. And so, yes, it may have been a red flag or a red herring to throw law enforcement off. A defense attorney is going to say or exploit, why did he call 911 and report her missing when he could have just easily left the country without even calling and reporting her missing? He already had plans.
Maybe he was helping out the family. Maybe one of the family members called him and said, hey, have you seen her? And he's like, no. And they said, hey, she's been missing for a while, you know, just plain advocate for the other side, let's say. And then he's like, you know what? I'm on my way to India, but I'm gonna call for y'all and then I'm out. Could be exactly that. Yep, until he get caught, that's it.
To do that. So why add the phone call to it? So that could raise some sort of question as to whether or not, you know, he was the individual that actually committed this act. So that will be something else that gets challenged. And then we also have the fact that she was located in his apartment, which is not great for the defense, but do we know who else has access to that apartment? That will have to be explored. Did she have any issues with anybody else? And there's a number of things that can be challenged. The individual's mental state. There's a lot of layers to it. Now, more.
There's definitely a lot of layers, but we're really not gonna, it seems like we're not getting those answers right now. In this case, looks like it's almost over. So I don't think that we're gonna, let's see.
More often than not, when you see domestic incidents such as this, it is often true that it is that person's partner who has committed that act.
The only thing that I could think of was because of the multiple stab wounds. That's usually a crime of passion. He reported her missing and then he left. Why did you leave right away? Did you already have plans to leave? So there's a lot. You have to see, did he buy the plane tickets way in advance, or was it just that right after that happened? What time did this happen? So there's a lot that needs to get to think about. Yeah, could be right. Could be because he doesn't want to get mama, because he doesn't want to get caught.
So that's generally known, and that's why law enforcement will traditionally target their investigation to the partner initially. That could have been the case here. And once they began that investigation, ultimately had enough information to believe that he was the one that murdered her in his apartment. And not only that, it's an apartment building. So did anybody hear anything? Did anybody see?
I mean, did anybody hear or see anything? Because I'm not hearing anything else about any. I mean, it's almost like this is a brand new case. So I definitely got to follow up on it. I didn't realize there was so much talking. I thought there was going to be more of what actually happened, but this looks like they're just getting started.
Anything? Is there ring camera footage? You know,
yeah, that's what I said. That's what I was saying. Is there ring camera footage? But I don't know.
that might have heard some yelling or screaming or indications of an altercation. All of those things are going to factor in.
When it comes to the flight and leaving, because I could see, I mean, that will be, if and when this goes to trial, the defense attorney is going to have to handle that, because if you're a prosecutor, you're going to be like, this guy, you know, they will lay out this, what they will say is a calculated, she was murdered, he calls it in, but the flight was already booked and then he's out the door. I could see a defense attorney say, like, well, this flight was already planned, he has family over there.
That's what I just talked about. Was this, the burden of proof is on the prosecution, right? So like I said, was his flight already planned? Did he already buy these tickets? There's a lot of layers to this that we have to think about. And as a detective, my mind is already thinking about them. That's what I'm saying.
He's got to go. How risky can that be, though? And we don't know who's on this jury, if and whether there is a jury, because I could see a lot of jurors. Maybe if I was a juror, I'd be like, yeah, okay. You know, that it, like, you know, like I could see a juror sitting there and being like, there's no way that you suddenly just booked a trip to Italy or to India. And maybe he did book it earlier. I don't know, but let's just assume that it was kind of, okay, this happens, booking the trip, calling police, and then I'm out the door as police say happen. It feels like that would be really difficult to get a lot of jurors to buy into that.
Not really. Not really. It wouldn't be that hard. I don't think it would be that hard. All they have to say is, listen, he had this ticket already planned. He was leaving. Her family member called, worried about him. So they told him, listen, could you call for us since you're the boyfriend? Have you seen her? And he's like, yo, I'm going to call for you guys, but I'm leaving. I mean, I'm just saying, not that that's how it is, but I'm just saying this is why the burden of proof is on the prosecution, right? They're going to have to prove that this stuff is not true. He definitely needs to answer, and they definitely need to find him.
I'm sure at some point in time, there will be somebody that deals with either forensics, and it doesn't even have to be as in-depth as a forensic expert, to see what time that ticket was purchased. If it was purchased online, it was a credit card transaction, they're going to be able to narrow down the date that it was purchased. They may be able to narrow down the time it was purchased and relate that in time with the time of the missing person call and the discovery of the body. So that should answer a lot of questions. But I think most people will hear that and think consciousness of guilt. Defense attorney, of course, is going to say, my client had family over there. He had already planned on going. Or
that's exactly what you see. That's the defense. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I just said before she said all of this. So it's a lot of layers to this.
Or he was scared. And he knows that more often than not, the partner is blamed and he was scared. Did it make it right for him to run? No, but he did, and he was scared. Doesn't mean because he fled that he was the perpetrator of this crime.
You know, this is, it does appear to be a very sad case of domestic violence, of partner violence. As somebody who's prosecuted some of these cases, how often do you need to have, you know, because there will be, I assume, a lot of evidence forensically, especially because it was a stabbing and, you know, not to be morbid, but that, you know, it seems like there'd be a lot of evidence there, but
I'm sure there is a lot of evidence. Maybe that there's a reason why they want to get him back to the United States, because they probably do have enough evidence to charge him with. Maybe there is some DNA evidence there. Do they have his DNA? We don't know. Did he leave DNA there? We don't know. Did she leave some kind of sign up on her death that he did it? We don't know.
After visiting her ex-boyfriend.
Whoa.
Whether or not, you know, he was the individual that actually committed this act. So that will be something else that gets challenged. And then we also have the fact that she was located in his apartment, which is not great for the defense, but do we know who else has access to that apartment? That will have to be explored.
It was his apartment.
Did she have any issues with anybody else? And there's a number of things that can be challenged. the individual's mental state. There's a lot of layers to it. Now, more often than not, when you see domestic incidents such as this, it is often true that it is that person's partner who has committed that act. So that's generally known, and that's why law enforcement will traditionally target their investigation to the partner
Oh,
initially.
we got that already. That's good.
Their forensics, and it doesn't even have to be as in-depth as a forensic expert to see what time that ticket was purchased. If it was purchased online, it was a credit card transaction, they're going to be able to narrow down the date that it was.
Yeah, but the problem is not narrowing it down or anything like that. It's finding him. Finding him is the big problem. Where in India is he? How hard are they looking for him in India? They need to put a reward out.
Was purchased, they may be able to narrow down the time it was purchased and relate that in time with the time of the missing person call and the discovery of the body. So that should answer a lot of questions. But I think most people will hear that and think consciousness of guilt. Defense attorney, of course, is going to say, my client had family over there. He had already planned on going, or he was scared. And he knows that more often than not, the partner is blamed and he was scared. Did it make it right for him to run?
We heard that
No,
part
but
already.
he did,
Hold on.
and he was scared.
Let's fast forward that. My hands.
So it's easy to say, well, this person was murdered because
Listen, I'm gonna fast forward her up.
a lot of times if people are on social media, and I don't know if that's the case for this individual, but they tell on themselves and they tell who they are through their social.
This guy is not on social media. He's nowhere to be found. India can't even find him.
Media posts and things like that, and also checking their internet history. If there's the ability to get a warrant to get into the computers or any phones that may have been left, that will tell the story of who this person is.
Well, I also think, kind of going back to the FBI part of it, because this is not a tiny county in Maryland, but if you're building this case and he has a lot of friends and family and she has friends and family in India as well, and as you're building this case up and you need to communicate with people.
That's right. So she has friends and family in India. I mean, who knows? Probably grew his hair long, shaved his face, or grew a big beard. Who knew? Who knows? Like, are we looking for this guy and maybe his hair is blonde now? Probably changed his entire identity. So how are they gonna find him? I don't know.
People on the other side of the world. I mean, how difficult? I mean, obviously there's Zoom, there's ways to communicate with them, but being on the ground, actually finding the people that know them, speaking to them face to face. How do you go about kind of coordinating with a prosecutor's office in India or a police department in India in trying to get
You don't, because they're not telling you. No. It's very hard, and it's almost like they don't even want to be bothered. It's hard enough to get people in the United States, other police departments, to talk to you, yet alone police department in India. Ciao.
picture of who they are when you are not the FBI or Interpol, and you are going to be, you're just a sheriff's office or a district attorney in Maryland.
It can certainly be difficult, but I think that some of these communities have been diversified enough where it would be easy for the prosecutor to maybe get an interpreter that speaks the same language who is able to communicate with that side.
Anyway,
when you're in law enforcement or prosecutors, sometimes you're working 24 hours, you're working at night. And so just setting up the time to be able to.
Listen, it's all word salad here. Okay? It's all word salad. All word salad. That's the end of that. Okay? I want to know, with all this being said and done, and I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to let you guys know when I'm going to be going live. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these stories. So I hope you guys, wait, what just happened? I hope you guys enjoy these lives because I enjoy bringing them to you. I'm going to be bringing a lot more crime stories. Oh, wait, because I want to see what everyone is saying. So let me get out of there and let me bring Instagram up here so I can get everyone. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a lot more of these stories. So let me know. Let me just do that so I can bring this here. Let me know what you guys think about these crime stories. Are you enjoying them? Do you want me to bring a new crime stories to you guys every night? Don't forget, I'm also on Facebook and I am also on YouTube as well. So I was streaming on all 3 platforms, okay? YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So everyone got a little bit of this. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I surely enjoy it. Look, my light is so bright. Woo, if I put it like that, I'll be so light. But nevertheless, let me know. Let me know your thoughts about these stories, this crime story. Do you enjoy seeing them? Do you want more every night, or do you want me to do like a daily rundown of what's happening as well? So some nights I can do daily rundown. Thank you for sharing. Oh, anytime, anytime. I could thinking about also doing like a daily rundown once I figure out how to do that about stories and crime that's affecting us, some stories that we also don't see in the media that we need to talk about as well. Because I do my recalls and stuff like that. So let me know if that's something that you guys want to see more of. Feel free to DM me about stories that you want me to talk about, because I am going to be going live. Probably at least, if I don't think I can do it every night, but I could definitely at least try to do it 3 nights per week. So that's a must. All right. Let me hear what you guys are saying over there on Instagram. Did you enjoy this live? Hopefully you absolutely did. I enjoyed bringing it to you. Tomorrow at around 7, I'm going to be bringing you another story, another true crime story, or maybe I may do a weekly rundown, but I think I may do the weekly rundown like on Fridays. You like it? Wonderful, mama censorship. Good. I'm happy you guys like it. So once a week, if you love true crime, I'm going to be doing this at least 3 days per week. I'm going to try to do it 5, but I'm not 100% sure. But I'm definitely going to be bringing you guys some true crime stories. So stay tuned for that. Let me know if you have a true crime story that you want us to watch together, and we can talk about and go ahead and, do whatever we did today, which was fun. I had a good time with you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and talking about this true crime story. I absolutely loved it. So if you enjoy, go ahead, share with a friend or follow us, and I'll see you next time in another video. And what? And as always, please stay safe and stay healthy. Good night.